It's not Halloween yet, but don't tell that to Abysscraft. Hey buddy, Espira and I'm breaking down every Abysscraft card from Shadowverse Worlds Beyond's first set, Legends Rise. Kicking it off with the bronze cards, we have Errol, Moonstruck Vampire. A 3-cost 1/1 fanfare, summon a bat, and whenever an allied bat enters the field, give it storm and deal 1 damage to your leader. And then bats are 1-cost 1/1s that innately have drain. So effectively, you're going to get that 1 life back. And then, of course, you do get a 1/1 Stormer, which can potentially be buffed depending on additional cards in the strats. Then we've got Nameless Demon, a 2-cost 2/2 with on evolve, summon 2 copies of Bat. Again, it's fine. You're dealing 4 damage at that point, 2 of which can be healed. They do come in for free, so if there's anything that cares about having bats on board or being able to provide additional advantages to our bats, this scales with that. Then we've got Little Miss Bonemancer, a 3-cost 1/2. Last word, summon 2 copies of Skeleton. Skeletons are 0-cost 1/1, so being able to deploy a bunch of bodies, naturally very nice whenever we're trying to build up shadows for our necromancy. Next up, we've got Ghost Juggler, 6-cost 5/5, Fanfare Reanimate 4, which could potentially represent a lot of stats. You could potentially get yourself another 4/4 for a total of 9/9 for stats. It's fine. Naturally, a card like this scales with how good the targets are that you're looking at, and there's a few cute options at that 4-cost range. And no matter what, at that point in the game, you're going to get some form of value. And we've got Dark Seal Demon, 5-cost 4/4 fanfare. Draw 2 cards, deal 2 damage to your leader, and then on evolve, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 6 damage. I like this card quite a bit. It is a 4/4. It'll draw you 2 cards, so it replaces itself and goes +1. You could, and then on evolve, you could also potentially get rid of 2 cards by dealing 6 to 1 and then attacking into the other. So effectively, you've gone what 3 for 1, 4 for 1, which I like. I think it's pretty solid in terms of bronze options. I think this is going to be the budget player's all-star for anyone who's looking to play Abysscraft. Then we've got Reaper's Deathslash, a 1-cost bronze spell. Select an allied and enemy follower on the field and destroy them. I think this is fine. Naturally, you're perfectly fine in Abysscraft with wanting your things to die, and then turning that into being able to destroy anything on your opponent's side. I think this is going to be a staple going into this Forest set. You might not realize it yet, but it's a brand new YouTube channel. So if you like what we're doing here, subscribe button down below would be much appreciated. Moving on to our silver cards, we have Mino Shrewd Reaper, a 2-cost 2/1 enhance for 4. Give this follower Rush and Bane, so we do love that in terms of just being a removal. This is just, you could play it for 2 if you really need to, but realistically you're holding it for your turn 4. It can remove anything, it can rush, and then last words, add a skeleton to your hand. It'll add a little additional 1/1 there. I really like what this does, especially in what Abysscraft is trying to do. Then we've got Beryl, Nightmare Incarnate, a 2-cost 3/3 fanfare, deal 3 damage to your leader, then on evolve, restore 5. So you're netting 2 at the end of that transaction, and then you're getting a slightly above statted follower on that 3/3 stat line, which is why you're going to be dealing yourself a little bit of damage. Then we've got Yuna, Occult Hunter, a 4-cost 3/5 with ward, and then last words, add a ghost and a bat to your hand. A ghost is a 1-cost 1/1 with storm, and then when this card leaves the field, you banish it. At the end of your turn, banish this card. So you're going to want to do something with that ghost before it banishes, because banishing doesn't count towards your shadows. That's fine. Obviously provides you additional bodies. There's no synergies that we're seeing at the moment in terms of being able to use all these token strategies, but they're okay. We've got Vlad Impaler, an 8-cost 5/8. Fanfare, select an enemy follower on the field and deal 5 damage to it, restore 5 defense to your leader. I think this is fine, but by the time you're on that 8 cost, if you're not ending your opponent, you better hope you're not dying. And I'm not necessarily sure that dealing 5 is going to be able to get rid of everything that is kind of threatening you by the time you get to that 8 play cost level. Then we've got Shadowcrypt Memorial, a 3-cost amulet with fanfare, add 2 shadows to your cemetery, and then engage, destroy this card, summon 2 copies of Ghost. So it doesn't really do much on play, but can set up combos when you're looking into playing it with additional cards. Going into the gold cards, we have Cerez, Blue Rose Maiden, a 4-cost 1/4 with Bane. At the end of your turn, restore 2 defense to your leader. If this follower is super evolved, restore 4 instead and give this follower barrier. So I like this a ton. A 1/4 with Bane will be able to remove anything. It can combo with Olivia in neutral to be able to kind of get its end of turn proc. It's a fantastic card. Defensively, if it gets barrier, it's super annoying as well because your opponent will potentially have to trade 2 into it if they're not using removal to get rid of it. A fantastic card. Then we've got Orthrus, Hellhound Blader. We've seen this card before, but just to quickly cover it, a 2-cost 2/2 with fanfare, add 2 shadows to your cemetery. It has ward, then evolve Necromancy for 4. Do this 2 times, deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. So it does a lot. Obviously, you play it early, it just builds up your shadows, is exactly what you want to do. And then if you get the benefit of being able to evolve it in the late game, you get a little bit of removal tacked in. Then we've got Mukon, Shadow Crypt Ward, Fanfare Necromancy 8 to get to evolve this follower. We do love free evolves as there's not too many of them in this first set of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Whenever an allied departed follower enters the field, give it bane. That includes ghosts or anything that you are reanimating. And then when this follower evolves, you get to summon a ghost as well. So decent stats in the late game, being able to be removal as well is always welcome. Then we got Balto, Dusk Bounty Hunter, a 3-cost 3/1 Fanfare gain crest Balto Dusk Bounty Hunter. And the crest has countdown 4. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to both leaders. This is really dope. In an aggressive strategy, just being able to get that 4 additional damage is super welcome, especially since it's like non-preventable damage for the most part. The 3/1 stat line definitely hurts though, because any weenie or any bad removal your opponent's running is going to be able to get rid of this card. So just being able to play it to just get 4 damage is fine. That's still on rate, and if for whatever reason it lives, then it's like really juiced. So this card's like okay in aggressive strategies. Then we've got Rage of Serpents, our gold spell for 2. Select an enemy follower on the field or the enemy leader and deal it 3 damage. Deal 2 damage to your leader. 3 damage for 2 is fine, especially if you're playing an aggressive strategy. Moving on to our legendary cards, and we're kicking off with the iconic Cerberus Hellfire Unleashed. An 8-cost 6/6 with Fanfare, summon a Mimi, right paw Hellhound, and Coco, left paw Hellhound. Necromancy for 6, give all other allied followers on the field +2/+0. Then on Super Evolve, do this 2 times, reanimate 1, which naturally, the tokens themselves are 1 cost, so you could potentially be reanimating Mimi and Coco. Looking at Mimi, it's a 1-cost 2/1 with Rush. Last words, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. And then looking at Coco, it is a 1/2 with Rush. Last words, restore 2 defense on your leader. So being able to super evolve, you're going to be able to get additional Mimis and Cocos. So you're going to be able to heal an additional 4, deal an additional 6. It's a 6/6, so it's pretty decently statted. We have a good time with Cerberus around here. Moving on to Medusa, Venom Fang Royalty. A 7-cost 3/7 with Rush, can attack 3 times per turn, and then follower strike, destroy the opposing follower. Incredibly powerful card. This effectively just says, I board wipe your board. And if for whatever reason this card, which it really shouldn't, but for whatever reason, if this card survives, then it'll attack into the opponent 3 times for a total of 9 damage by itself. Or it can just clear the board once again. Incredibly powerful card, must kill card. Will do a ton of work in terms of restabilizing the board if you're going into the late game with your Abyss strategy. Then we've got Aragavi, Internal Hunter. A 5-cost 4/3 Fanfare, deal 7 damage split between all enemy followers. On evolve, deal 3 damage to both leaders. This card's pretty dope. If your opponent went tall, odds are this will be able to remove it. If your opponent went wide, odds are this will be able to remove everything. And then on evolve, being able to get that additional 3 damage is really solid in terms of trying to close out the game. So I definitely feel like Abysscraft is missing on payoffs. It has what it needs to be able to play an aggressive strategy, but I do think what you're looking for in terms of what you're trying to do with whether it be the shadows or with things like your bats and all that don't really exist at the moment. Nevertheless, I think you can lean into a fun strategy if the spooky skeletons is something that you're trying to do in Shadowverse's first set. Let me know what your favorite card is in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.